Okay, so earlier we have started the land and people. So we know that already India have covered 32 lakhs 87,263 square kilometers area, and it has Himalayas, coastal villages in the south, Thar Desert in the west, and Brahmaputra Valley in the east. And India is the seventh largest country in the world and ranks first in the population. Now it is first, earlier it was second. So if we talk about the longitude and latitude, that is the mainland extends between 8 degree 4 latitude and 37 degree 6 north, and its longitude, that is 68 degree 7 and 97 degree 25 north. So distance from north to south about 32 114 kilometers between the extreme latitude, and about 2933 kilometers from east to west between the extreme longitude. Land frontier, we know that it is 15,200 kilometers, and the total length of the coastline of the mainland Lakshadweep Islands and Andaman Nicobar Islands, that has found it's 7,516 kilometers. It has divided into six zones, that is north, south, east, west, central, northeast zone, and it has 28 states and 8 union territories currently. Bordering countries are Afghanistan, Pakistan, Northwest China, to the northeast, and China, Bhutan, Nepal, north, that is to the north, and Myanmar to the far east, and Bangladesh to the east. If we talk about Sri Lanka, that is separated from India by a narrow channel that is called Park Strait and Gulf of Myanmar. So if we talk about physical features, the mainland comprises of four regions, that is Great Mountains, rolling plains of Ganga and Indus, the desert region, and the southern peninsula. Now the Himalayas comprises three almost parallel ranges. We talk about Kashmir, Kullu Valley, and fertile and scenic beauty. So if we talk about home to some of the highest peak in the world. So the high altitudes allow travel only through passes, notably Jipla, Nathula to the main Indo-Tibetan trade route through Chumbi Valley, and also northeast of Darjeeling and Shipkila Pass and Satluj Valley. Shipkila is in Satluj Valley, and northeast of Kalpa, it is Kinnor. If we talk about mountain wall, that has extended over a distance of about 2,400 kilometers with varying depth of 240 to 320 kilometers in the east between India and Myanmar and India and Bangladesh. Hill ranges are much lower. Garo, Khasi, Jaintia, Naga hills running almost east to west join the chain to Mizo and Rakhine hills running north to south. If we talk about plains of Gangas and Indus about 2,400 kilometers long and 240 to 30 to 240 to 30 to 320 kilometers broad, that are formed by basins of three distinct river systems, that is the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. They are one of the world's greatest stretches of flat alluvium and also one of the most densely populated areas. If we talk about Thar desert region, we know that we have a Great Desert extends from the edge of Run of Kutch beyond Luni River northward, and the whole Rajasthan Sindh frontier runs through this. So the Little Desert extends to Luni between Jaisalmer and Jodhpur to the northwest. Between the Great and Little Deserts lies in barren zone consisting of rocky land up to by the limestone. Okay, peninsular plateau. It basically talks about the geographical ranges and geographical areas. So if it comes down to river system, that is Himalayan river, Deccan river, coastal river, river of inland drainage basin. Himalayan river, we know we have Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna system, Yamuna river, rivers of Chambal and Betwa. Betwa is in UP. So Brahmaputra rises in Tibet. So and the principal tributaries of Brahmaputra is Subansiri, Jebhareli, Dhansiri, Puthimari, the Barak River. Deccan rivers we have like the rain-fed, we have Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri, Mahanadi, Narmada, Tapti. Narmada and Tapti are a west-flowing river, all are the east-flowing rivers. So the coastal streams, that especially on the west coast, are short in length and have limited catchment areas. Most of them are non-perennial. Inland drainage system, we have that the streams of the inland drainage basin of western Rajasthan are few and far apart. Most of them are of ephemeral character, like these are Loni, Machu, Rupen, Saraswati, Banas, Ghaggar, and others. Drainage basin, we have the entire country has been divided into 20 river basins, group of river basins comprising 12 major basins and 8 composite river basins. 12 major river basins are Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra, Meghna, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Mahanadi, Pennar, Brahmani, Bhetarani, Sabarmati, Mahi, Narmada, Tapti. Each of these basins has a drainage area exceeding 20,000 kilometers, 20,000 square kilometers to be specific. Now, the 8 composite river basins combine suitably together all the other remaining medium drainage area of 2,000 to 20,000 square kilometers, and small river system drainage area are less than 2,000 square kilometers for the purpose of planning and management. If we talk about climate sessions, that are the climate of India may be broadly described to as tropical monsoon type. Now, the Indian Meteorological Department designed 4 official seasons. Winter seasons, like we have winter seasons are January, February. Pre-monsoon and summer seasons are um, March, April, May, and southwest monsoon seasons are July, June, August, September, and post monsoon or northeast monsoon sessions, that are October, November, December. So, monsoon, if we talk about the southwest monsoon season, is the mainly rainy seasons of the country, and it varies from June to September, though it is generally taken to be 4 months, like June to September. Its actual period at a specific place differs depending on the date of its onset withdrawal. Monsoon sets in over the Kerala coast by 1st June and then advances in early June and extends over the entire country by the end of July. Duration, if we talk about, it varies from less than 75 days in Western Ghat to more than 120 days over the southwestern regions of the peninsular India. So, within a season, if we talk about, the monsoon rainfall oscillates between active spells associated with widespread rains over most parts of the country and breaks with the little rainfall activity over the plains and the heavy rains across the foothills of the Himalayas. So it is based on the data that of 1971 to 2020, India receives about 868.6 millimeter rainfall during the southwest monsoon season, and the India monsoons blows from the southwest during the warmest months of the year, and it reverses direction to blow from northeast during the cooler months, and this process brings large amount of rainfall to the region during June to September, and it's regarded as a principal rainy season. So if we talk about prevalence of cyclones, that is, tropical cyclones are originated from the over the warm ocean in the world and develop into massive vortices and composed of swirling winds and intense clouds and tor- torrential rains by drawing energies from the oceans. If we talk about the east and west coast of India, that are prone to the destructive feature of tropical cyclone activity. Now that its development in the seasonal in nature, and most tropical ocean basins have maximum frequency of formation during the late summer to early autumn period. So the tropical cyclone on monsoon season usually occurs during the onset phase, that is on month of June, and withdrawal phase, that is month of September of southwest monsoon. Flora, we have that India is rich in flora. Available data places in India at the 10th position in the world and 4th in Asia in the in the plant diversity. From about 70% of the geographical areas surveyed so far, so over 46,000 species of plants have been described by the Botanical Survey of India. Now, the vascular flora, that which forms of the conspicuous vegetation cover that comprises 15,000 species, India can be divided into 8 distinct floristic regions, like the Western Himalayas we have, Eastern Himalayas we have, Assam, Indus Plain, Ganga Plain, Deccan, Malabar, and Andamans. So we have, I'll repeat it, like Western Himalayas, Eastern Himalayas, Assam, Indo Plain, Ganga Plain, Indus Plain, and Ganga Plains, Deccan. So visualize everything. uh, Western and Eastern Himalayas. Okay, Western Himalayas, Eastern Himalayas, Assam we there, Indus Plain, Ganga Plain, Deccan we have, Malabar we have, and Andaman. Okay, now the Western Himalayan region. So it extends from Kashmir to Kumaon. Its temperate zone is rich in forest in of jade, pine, and other confiners and broad level temperate trees. Higher we find forest of deodar, blue pine. Okay, the characteristics trees of these zones are high level silver fir and silver beech and junipers. If we talk about Eastern Himalayan region, that extends from Sikkim eastwards, and it embraces Darjeeling, Korsong, and adjacent tracts. Another temperate zone has forest of oaks, laurels, maples. So it has so many things. So it all these things comes under Eastern Himalayan region. If you talk about Indus Plain region, that comprises of plains of Punjab, Western Rajasthan, Northern Gujarat, and it is dry, hot, and support natural vegetation. If we talk about Ganga Plain region, that covers the area which is alluvial plain, and it is under cultivation of wheat, sugarcane, and rice. Deccan region we have that is comprises the entire table land of India peninsula and support vegetation of various kinds from shrub jungles to mixed deciduous forest. The Malabar region we have that covers the excessively humid belt of mountain country that parallel to the west coast of peninsula. Now the region produces imported commercial crops such as coconut, betel nut, pepper, coffee, tea, rubber, and cashew nut. So we have Andaman region that abundance in evergreen, mangrove, beech, and Duliville forest, owing to destruction of forest for agriculture, industrial. Take about 1336 plant species are considered vulnerable and endangered. So BSI brings out an inventory of endangered plants in the form of publication title, that is Red Data Book. So BSI, that now we know that BSI what published Red Data Book. So faunal resources, that India is very rich in terms of biological diversity due to its unique biogeographical location, diversified climate condition, and enormous ecodiversity and geodiversity. Now India is immense. Biological diversity encompasses ecosystems, population, species, and genetic makeup. According to World Biogeographic Classification, India represents two of major realms like the Palearctic and Indo-Malayan, and three biomes like tropical humid forest and tropical dry deciduous forest and warm desert semi-desert. Now the Wildlife Institute of India has proposed a modified classification which divides the country into 10 biogeographic regions like Trans-Himalayans, Himalayan, Indian desert, semi-arid, Western Ghats, Deccan Peninsula, Gangetic Plain, Northeast India, islands, and coast. Within only about 2.4% of world total land surface, India is known to have over 7.5% of the species of animals that the world holds. Like India contributes to 6.52% of the global funeral diversity and in the endemism of about 28%. Like India is one of the countries with high marine biodiversity that has been accounted with 20,444 species. Besides this, 9,457 species from freshwater, 3,939 species from estuarines, and others are from mangroves ecosystem, which is around 5,747. Okay, now if we talk about the under the man and biosphere concept of UNESCO, 18 biosphere reserves have been designated in India. So, of which Sundarban Biosphere Reserves harbors larger number of species, that is around more than 2600, while in Great Nicobar it is 2000 approx, Nilgiri it is 1800 approx, and Gulf of Mannar is 1000 approx. Manas we have, so how many biosphere reserves? Sundarban, Great Nicobar, Nilgiri, Gulf of Mannar, Manas, Panchmarini, Aksha Amarkantak, Simply Paul, Nokrek, Nanda Devi. So Nokrek has a less that has to be conserved, and Nanda Devi comes down to the second from last. Okay. So, what are the demographic background? Census, if we talk about the process of collecting, compiling, analyzing, and disseminating demographic, social, cultural, and economic data related to all people of the country in the particular time in the 10 years interval, like census 2011 was the 15th census since 1872 when the first census was conducted. It was conducted in two phases with reference date of 1st March. Now census 2021 was proposed to be conducted in two phases like house listing and house census during April September 2020. Now population enumeration during 9th to 28th February 2021 followed by a revision round from 1st to 5th March. Due to COVID, it was postponed until further orders. Like if you talk about population, as per the census of India 2011, the population of India stood at 1 to 1 crores, comprising 62 crores male, 58 crores female. Out of this, 83 crores, 68% lived in rural areas, and the rest are 37.71 crores with a population of